All right, let's dive right in. We are standing at the dawn of what people are calling the agentic era. This means AI is moving way beyond just being a simple tool that follows our commands. It's becoming an autonomous agent, something that can understand a goal, create a plan, and actually take action all on its own. But, this incredible leap forward brings up a massive challenge. How can you possibly trust something that thinks for itself?
Okay, so to really get this, let's use a powerful analogy. Think about traditional software, right? It's like a delivery truck. It's super predictable, it follows a fixed route, does its job, and you only need a few simple checks to make sure everything's running smoothly. But an AI agent? Whoa, that's a completely different beast. That's a Formula One race car. It's an autonomous, high-performance machine, making dynamic judgments every single millisecond. You can't just kick the tires and call it a day. You need continuous, real-time telemetry to understand every single decision it's making out there on the track.
And that, right there, is the million-dollar question for this new era. If an AI can come up with its own strategy to win the race, how do we actually test it? How can we be sure its judgments are the right ones? This is the exact problem we're going to break down today.
What's really wild is that these AI agents fail in brand new and kind of sneaky ways. I mean, a delivery truck just breaks down, right? It's obvious. But an agent, it won't just crash. It might quietly start amplifying biases it learned from its training data. Or it could confidently just make stuff up, hallucinate facts that sound totally plausible but are completely false. Its performance can even get worse over time as the real world changes around it. Or, and this is a big one, it can develop totally unintended strategies, basically finding and exploiting loopholes you didn't even know existed. See, these aren't just bugs in the code, these are flaws in its thinking.
And that leads us to the real punchline here. If you've ever done any coding, you know a breakpoint is your best friend. It lets you pause the program and see what's going on inside. But you can't pause a thought. There's no way to put a breakpoint on a hallucination. The old tools, the ones we've relied on for decades to ensure software quality, are now fundamentally broken. They just don't work here.
Let's try another analogy. This time, let's go to the kitchen. Traditional software is like a line cook at a fast food joint. They've got a laminated recipe card with exact step-by-step instructions. It's rigid, it's deterministic, it's perfectly predictable every single time. You're just checking to make sure a known process was followed.
An AI agent, though, that's a gourmet chef on one of those cooking competition shows. You don't hand them a recipe, you give them a basket of ingredients and a goal, like make an incredible dessert. There's no single correct way to do it. The chef has to be creative, they have to invent a solution, and you can't judge their work by just looking at a checklist.
And this brings us to what is maybe the single most important idea in all of this. We have to stop focusing only on the final output, the finished dish. The true sign of an agent's quality is in its trajectory. The trajectory is the agent's entire decision-making process, from the very beginning to the very end. It's the thought process. Why did the chef choose those ingredients? What technique did they use? The real story, the real insight is in the journey, not just the destination.
So that naturally brings up the next big question, right? If we need to judge the entire trajectory, how in the world do we actually get inside the agent's head to see it? How do we, as the judges, watch what the chef is doing in the kitchen, step by step?
Well, you need what we'll call a critic's toolkit, and it's built on 3 pillars of what's known as observability. First, you've got logs. Think of these like the agent's diary, where it writes down every single thing that happened. Then you have traces. These are what connect all those diary entries into a coherent story. And finally, you have metrics. That's the final scorecard, the thing that summarizes the agent's overall performance at a glance.
Okay, so now that we have the tools to actually see the process, we need a consistent way to judge it. We need a scorecard for our gourmet chef.
And the best way to tackle this is with a really smart 2-stage approach called outside in. You always start with the black box view. That means before you look at any of the internal stuff, you ask the simplest, most important question. Did the agent actually succeed? Did the final dish taste amazing? Yes or no?
And only after you've judged that final outcome do you pop the hood. You move to what's called the glass box view to look at that trajectory and figure out why it succeeded or failed. This is where you dig into the chef's technique, their ingredient choices, where they might have gone wrong. The black box tells you what happened, the glass box tells you why it happened.
So what are we actually scoring here? Well, our critic's scorecard has 4 main pillars of quality. First up, effectiveness. Did it actually do the thing it was supposed to do? Second, efficiency. Did it solve the problem without wasting a ton of time, energy, or money? I mean, an agent that takes 25 steps to do something that should take 3, that's a low-quality agent, even if it gets there in the end. Third is robustness. How does it deal with real-world messiness, like errors, or when you give it a confusing request? And finally, the absolute gatekeeper, safety. Does it operate within the ethical and operational rules we've set for it?
So who's doing all this judging? It's actually a team effort. We have AI judges, which are super fast and can evaluate performance at a massive scale. But for the stuff that really matters, nuance, context, values, the gold standard is always and will always be the human judge. Think of the AI as this incredible, tireless assistant, but the human is the essential final decider of what good really means.
So we've got the tools to see the process. We have a scorecard to judge it. Now let's put all the pieces together into a system that doesn't just measure quality, but actually improves it, again and again and again. This is where it all comes together in this brilliant concept called the agent quality flywheel. It's a cycle that builds on itself. Step 1. You define what quality even means, using those 4 pillars we talked about. Step 2. You instrument your agent, so you have that visibility to gather all the data. Step 3. You evaluate the process with your scorecard. And now here's the magic. Step 4. You build a feedback loop. Every single failure is automatically turned into a new test for the future. Every mistake makes the system smarter, which makes the flywheel spin faster, building momentum and trust over time. So, if you only take away 3 things from all this, let it be these core principles. First, evaluation is not something you tack on at the end. It has to be a core part of the architecture from day 1. Second, the trajectory is the truth. The final answer is just the last page of the book. The real story is in how it was written. And third, the human is the ultimate arbiter. Automation gives us incredible scale, but it's humanity that gives us our values.
And this all leaves us with one final and really important thought. We've spent this whole time talking about how to build AI we can trust. But as these agents start to manage more and more of our world, our finances, our supply chains, you name it, the bigger question becomes, how will we, as a society, decide which ones are worthy of that trust? The frameworks we're building today, well, they're going to be the foundation for that trust tomorrow.